Well, hello everyone and happy Thursday. It is digital host A.J. Wuest welcoming you back to Before the Four, the live stream where I go through some of 48's top news stories and then some before the 4 o'clock newscast. Wherever you're watching Before the Four today, whether that's on Facebook, YouTube, or the 48 Now live stream, as always, thank you so much for watching and spending just a little bit of your Thursday afternoon here. Now, let's begin actually with a story coming to you from Florence. A musical instrument store was burglarized last night. Now, this is according to the owners of the sound shop. The thieves smashed through the front door and grabbed 6 of the closest instruments to them. The items stolen include a Washburn B16 banjo that belonged to a customer who brought the instrument in for repair. Additionally, the suspect stole an Oscar Schmidt acoustic guitar, a Fender guitar, and a mix of Austin acoustics and electrics. Shop owners are asking for the public's help in locating these missing instruments. And if you have any information, please contact the Florence Police Department. 48's Faith Delp will have more on these stolen instruments coming up in our evening newscasts. And now a story out of Coleman County, where 5 Hanceville police officers, including the police chief, were arrested yesterday and are now facing tampering charges along with additional charges. Coleman County DA Champ Crocker is calling for the Hanceville Police Department to be abolished. 48's Noah Cowell breaks it all down for us.
This investigation started when Chris Willingham was found dead from an overdose while he was on the job at the 911 center in August. We now know that he died with a cocktail of drugs in his system, including fentanyl. As of today, we learned that some of those drugs came right from the Hanceville Police Evidence Room, which has now sparked a massive drug and corruption investigation.
There is a rampant culture of corruption in the Hanceville Police Department, which has recently operated as more of a criminal enterprise than a law enforcement agency.
The Hanceville police chief, 4 of his officers, and an officer's wife are all facing a variety of crimes from felonies to misdemeanors. Eric Kelso is accused of giving Adderall, hydrocodone, and anabolic steroids to 2 fellow officers, Cody Kelso and Jason Wilbanks. Eric and his wife Donna are both charged with drug distribution and conspiracy. Police Chief Jason Marlin is accused of knowing about at least some of these issues and failing to report them.
These officers find themselves on the opposite end of the laws they were sworn to uphold.
In today's news conference, District Attorney Champ Crocker highlighted the lack of security in the evidence room, releasing photos of a massive hole carved out to the room where people had unauthorized access to evidence like drugs. A picture even shows a man using a broomstick to jimmy the door to get inside.
This evidence room was routinely accessed by individuals who were not authorized to do so, going in and out using this stick through the hole in the wall.
Evidence for several cases is now legally tainted and can't be used in trials. The Coleman County Grand Jury recommended the city shut down its police department entirely. If that happens, the Coleman County Sheriff Matt Gentry says his department is ready to step in to help.
We would take over all responsibilities from patrol in that area, investigation in that area, dispatch, and or the jail. Of course, you know, we have the jail here where we run over 400 inmates a day.
The 6 who were charged are currently out on bond. Now, the district attorney said that he won't go into any specifics on what caused Willingham's death, but they do attribute much of it to the lack of security in that evidence room, which Willingham did have access to on the day that he died. Reporting in Coleman County, Noah Cowell, 48 News on your side.
And Noah will be following up on these arrests coming up in our evening newscasts. But last night, 48's Nick Ballinger went down to speak with a few community members on these recent arrests. Take a listen to what the Hanceville residents had to say.
Shocked, surprised, amazed. I heard all 3 all day from residents here in Hanceville after 5 of the city's police officers were arrested. But I even heard a few expected, saw it coming, and bound to happen. For a city the size of Hanceville in Coleman County, word typically travels fast. At least that's the case after the arrest of 5 Hanceville police officers.
It's probably embarrassing for a lot of people thinking, hey, this is our town, this is our community.
Lifelong Hanceville resident Josh McHugh heard the news from a friend.
Makes me a little bit more worried about getting pulled over.
One woman has known one of the officers, Jason Wilbanks, her whole life.
This can't be true. This is, I've known this kid for forever. He's always been a really good kid. I don't know if he just got mixed in with someone he shouldn't have been mixed in with.
But Eric Maldonado doesn't share that same shock. He works at a gas station where he sees Hanceville police officers pull people over daily.
It's a constant. I mean, we laugh about it because it's every day.
Like some of their cops would be like some massive power tripping dudes. I mean, there's some good cops in there.
The grand jury found the entire Hanceville Police Department should be abolished.
I mean, our sheriff's office patrols all these other small towns in the county of Coleman. I don't see why they couldn't do it down here.
With 5 officers arrested, McHugh says Hanceville's only down to a couple officers left.
Half of the force quit. Don't know why. I guess I can kind of see why.
He says a few quit back in December of 2023 when the former mayor pleaded guilty to 15 misdemeanor counts of using his office for personal gain. 4 months later, the former police chief retired, leaving Jason Marlin as the chief in August of 2024.
I mean, he's been in and out of our store. Seemed like a good stand-up guy. A lot of the officers there as well seem like pretty stand-up people. But, everything comes to light at some point.
Some here in Hanceville are still waiting for more information to come out regarding these arrests before they make any assumptions. Stick with WAFF 48 to bring you the latest. In Hanceville, Nick Ballinger, 48 News, on your side.
Now, in December, a 24-year-old Madison woman faced a life-altering complications from sepsis at a local hospital. Both of her arms and legs had to be amputated. Celeste Bradley is currently doing physical therapy and occupational therapy in Birmingham. She is also trying to get back to the use of her hands and legs with prosthetics. Jamila Anderson, who is a family friend, told 48 Sarah Grace Kennedy that she is staying positive through these trying times. Bradley's friends and family have decided to host a fundraiser to help her in her daily expenses and cover her hospitalization costs. The fundraiser will begin at 6 p.m. next Friday at Fitness 300 in Huntsville. Donations to the event can either be made directly through Bradley's GoFundMe page or in person at the event. And you can find the link to that GoFundMe on our website. Just go to WAFF.com.
We're so thankful that she's alive. That was one of our main prayers, was that she could make it through, and she did. So we're excited. Her spirits are picking up. Of course, the journey is hard, but any encouragement that we can send her way is greatly appreciated.
Now, we recently learned that Fort Payne's annual June Jam Festival will not be happening this year. 48 Savannah Sapp tells us more.
Well, after the Alabama Fan Club announced they were, quote, taking a break from June Jam this year, city leaders and residents were left puzzled by this decision. Mayor Brian Bain tells me they still have not received any answers as to why this event was canceled. Bain tells me June Jam had a resurgence about 2 years ago after a 26-year hiatus. He says since it was brought back, June Jam has been a success for the city of Fort Payne. However, the Alabama Fan Club announced on Tuesday that there will not be a 2025 festival. Bain says he cannot understand why this decision was made, nor have city leaders received an explanation. Still, he says there will be events to take place during the usual week of June Jam that will feature big-name acts. He says he doesn't expect June Jam's absence to have a lasting effect.
On the day of the June Jam, most people that are coming in, that just come in for the jam, are in town for the jam, and then they're out of town. So I don't really foresee a big economic impact, positive or negative.
And I have reached out to the Alabama Fan Club just to learn more about why the event was canceled, but at this time I have not received a response. In Fort Payne, I'm Savannah Sapp, 48 News, on your side.
Now let's talk about one company in Huntsville that's going beyond its roots, focusing on community service and supporting other small businesses as its #1 priority. Beyond Trash is also one of the only Black-owned trash companies in the entire nation. 48's Nick Ballinger reports.
For most, the garbage company doesn't matter as long as the bin is emptied. After all, it's just trash. Marceau Scott stars on Love and Marriage Huntsville. He knows a thing or two about relationships, and Beyond Trash is more than a logo to him.
Beyond Trash is more than a vendor. Beyond Trash is a partner. When we need them, we need them.
The roots of Beyond Trash come just down the road from their headquarters in this home on Meridian Street in North Huntsville. Nelson McLeod met his co-owner 25 years ago in a dorm room on the campus of Alabama A&M.
Luck would have it, I got laid off, and I was open to opportunities. He was in the waste management industry. He got all of the industry knowledge, and he saw a void in the market and an opportunity here in Huntsville, and we came to attack it.
Well, that void came in November of 2023 when McLeod and his partner started Beyond Trash.
We got a lot of who wakes up and starts a trash company? So it's nothing pretty about it.
Beyond Trash is one of only a few black-owned trash companies in the nation. McLeod focuses on prioritizing customer service, social media outreach, and supporting other small businesses.
I want to do good business, and then we just happen to be black-owned. I don't want to use being a black-owned business as my niche. So, you know, you can call me today, and 9 times out of 10, you can get a dumpster today.
The company broke even within its first year since the first dumpster was dropped in May of 2024 and has grown to over 100 accounts. One of those accounts belongs to Scott, who McLeod and his partner met at A&M.
I still need you to be excellent. I still need you to do what you said you're going to do. I have people that I need to respond to, and I want to make sure that they are able to respond to me in that same manner.
It means the world, you know, to have the opportunity to be a business owner.
From college roommates to homegrown roots, McLeod hopes his company will grow beyond trash, and it even helped him land a job cleaning their alma mater after football games last season. Nick Ballinger, 48 News, on your side.
Now coming up after the break, we'll go through some regional high school basketball, more Tennessee Valley squads battling their way to the state tournament, new bill proposals here in the state, one involving guns, the other involving veterans, and new details on the plane crash in Arizona yesterday. And a free show in Huntsville this weekend you're just not gonna wanna miss. It's all ahead. I'll see you all in 1 minute. Well, hello and welcome back to Before the Four. Now, I say we talk about some new bill proposals here in the Yellowhammer State. Senate Bill 170 is a piece of legislation that will target gun violence here in the state. If passed, the law would allow law enforcement to confiscate guns from individuals who pose an immediate danger to themselves or others. WTVM's Justin Brown tells us more.
We need to do something and not just wait for something bad to happen in our state.
Gun violence continues to be a hot topic across the country, and many state and federal lawmakers are trying to do what they can to reduce gun violence. In Alabama, Senator Marika Coleman says her bill could help do that.
We look at gun violence in not only in Alabama, but in this country. We need to have a mechanism where we can get those guns away from folks who are dangerous.
Senator Coleman says Senate Bill 170 would allow family members, teachers, or mental health professionals to report someone who they believe to be a dangerous threat to themselves or to others to law enforcement or circuit court. That would allow law enforcement to take away that person's guns and ammunition for a set amount of time.
This is just another mechanism that, again, we hope will save a person's life if they prove to be a threat to themselves, but will save others' lives.
Senator Coleman says one of the reasons this bill is so important is because of the alarming amount of suicide-related deaths.
57% of gun deaths are suicides. So it would also be a mechanism that, law enforcement or family can use if someone has also been proven that they are a danger to themselves.
If a person's guns are confiscated, Coleman says they'll have a day in court to go and talk to the judge to make their case why they should have their guns back.
I would hope that Alabama would not have to be the state that has to wait until some level of mass shooting of that magnitude would happen before we did something. Let's be proactive.
Now, this next coming bill has already passed through both chambers of the state legislature, and Governor Ivey is expected to sign it. If signed, it will create a new center to help veterans. WSFA's Emma Ellis tells us more.
Around 9% of Alabamians are veterans, yet they make up 18% of all victims of suicide in the state. To help combat that problem and improve the overall quality of life for our veterans, state lawmakers voted to create a new Alabama Veteran Resource Center.
There is not a greater priority that we as elected officials should have than making sure that each and every one of them is given the support that they need.
Supporters of the legislation say the center will help veterans find employment, mental health services, and a sense of community, a place where they feel like they belong.
And it will not simply provide these mechanisms of support for our veterans, but for their families as well. Because as we all know, it's not just the soldier who sacrifices, but their families as well.
The center will also be designed to help veterans who recently retired from military service better transition into civilian life.
What I think this center is a culmination of efforts to bring veterans into the spotlight and show them that they're not going to be left behind in the state of Alabama. They're going to get the resources and attention they need.
Now let's talk about some high school basketball. I know some of you were waiting for. Final day of regional hoops today, but first, let's talk about yesterday, which saw both the boy and girl variations of the mighty Plainview Bears claw their way to the state tourney. 48's Carl Prather with a recap of everything that went down.
Today we had 4 of our area teams battling for 2 spots in the Northeast Regional here on the campus of Jacksonville State. Game 1, it was a battle of North Alabama teams, the girls, Madison Academy, the Mustangs taking on Plainview. This was a great game down the stretch. In the fourth quarter, Madison Academy with a great feed to Marley Hitchpeth for 2 of her 6 points. Mustangs led by as many as 12 today, but Plainview would come storming back. Sawyer, Kate Hogan with a drive to the basket. This game would actually head to overtime. Plainview would outscore the Mustangs 26-15 in the fourth and overtime. Sawyer Kate Hogan with a monster game, 31 points. She also added 8 rebounds. She was named the tournament MVP in Plainview. Headed back to state with a 53-48 win. The final game of the day, a battle between the Madison Academy boys and the Plainview boys in the 4A regional final. Janssen Valdez with a breakaway all alone for 2 for MA. Mustangs led by 12 at one point. Plainview just kept chipping away. Sawyer Wilborn with the bucket, 2 of his 18 points. How about the Bears? They're back at state after a couple of years of hiatus, defeating the Mustangs 58-53.
And there were some more exciting games today from the campus of Jacksonville State University. 48's Carl Prather will recap all of today's high school basketball action coming up in our evening newscasts. Now, I gotta mention it again. If you're in the mood to dance, maybe sing, and just have a good time in Huntsville this weekend, come on out to the Electric Bell this Saturday and enjoy a free, I'll repeat that again, free performance from the Zooks. The band, originally from the Marshall Islands, is celebrating 25 years of great music. A little Motown, a little classic rock in the mix. It's all good for the soul, and there'll be an auction there, all for a good cause. Original band member Randy Razook tells us where proceeds for Saturday night's performance goes towards.
Yeah, it's also kid friendly too. So and there's we're doing this in conjunction with a group called EPIC, which is Exceptional People in Community, and it's a nonprofit that's run by my wife, Marianne. And there's going to be a silent auction with baskets that are going to be bid on. So There'll be sheets in front of the baskets. You go put your name down and how much you want to bid. There'll also be an electric guitar signed by the Zooks that's going to be up for silent auction too. And all the proceeds are going to go to support the disabled adults in the area that have no place to go to do any activities. So Epic provides the facilities for them to do that. So most of the proceeds are going to go for that. We're not getting paid for this. The Electric Bell, they've been great in supporting us. They also providing the facilities for free. They're providing a professional sound man, and all the equipment that goes for the PA system will be provided by the Electric Bell. So they've been very helpful in helping pushing this forward.
Now moving on to national news, to that fatal midair plane collision in Arizona. It involved two small single-engine fixed-wing planes at a regional airport. It's just the latest aviation accident in recent months that's putting a spotlight on the safety of air travel. All as the Trump administration fired hundreds of FAA employees. Liz Kreutz is in Los Angeles with the latest on this one and what we should know about the state of air travel.
This is the charred aftermath of yet another aviation accident, this one involving two small private airplanes Wednesday morning just outside Tucson.
Small aircraft fully involved in the fire.
Officials say a Cessna and a Lance airplane like these, each with two people on board, collided midair near a small airport that does not have an air traffic control tower. The NTSB says while the Cessna landed uneventfully, the Lancer plane crashed on the runway and caught fire, killing two people. Witnesses nearby capturing a plume of black smoke. It comes just 2 days after the harrowing crash landing in Toronto, forcing an emergency evacuation for all 80 people on board. Before that, the fatal air ambulance crash in Philadelphia and the devastating mid-air collision of an Army Black Hawk and an American Airlines plane, which killed all 67 people involved. The family of one of the victims now taking legal action, seeking $250 million from both the Army and FAA for alleged wrongdoing. Neither agency commented on the filing. All these incidents putting a spotlight on the safety of air travel. Over the weekend, the Trump administration fired nearly 300 people from the FAA, according to the union representing employees. Among those terminated, maintenance mechanics, environmental protection specialists, and aviation safety assistants. In a letter to employees, the acting FAA administrator defended the firing, saying the agency has retained employees who perform safety-critical functions.
What kind of impact could those layoffs have?
We have an aviation system that is not new. It's an older system and it needs a lot of maintenance. So I'm more concerned about the flights being reduced because of this than I am the safety.
Now, as investigators arrive in Arizona, this latest crash adding to the growing list of troubling incidents in the air.
And now let's head into the stories you're just not going to want to miss coming up in our evening newscast. The latest on the Boeing layoffs, the company providing a statement today. Find out what they had to say coming up. The Back the Blue Act, 48's Matthew King will have all those details coming up. Pathways of Madison County and the non-renewal hearing getting pushed back again. And finally, the widow of the late Steve Perkins filing an amended complaint and her ongoing federal lawsuit. Get all those details, and these are just a few of the stories you're just not going to want to miss coming up in our evening newscast. And it is that time once again. What time is it? It is time for Facebook Fun. It's Facebook Fun time, that's right. What's a TV series that never gets old? That's our 48 Facebook question of the day, and let's see what you all had to say. Elizabeth said Matlock, Andy Griffith, starting out with the A bang, In the Heat of the Night and Good Times. All wonderful shows there, Elizabeth. Thank you so much for commenting. Brondon said Martin and the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Absolutely. Two more classics. Jason said Hee Haw. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Ricky said Law and Order. 100%. Well, great comments today. Thank you all for commenting. I'm trying to think of mine. And, you know, I think a show that for me I don't think ever gets old. I have to say it's SpongeBob SquarePants. I am always going back to watching some SpongeBob. It never gets old, no matter how much older I get, it never gets old. But thank you all so much. It always makes my day seeing what you all have commented on 48's Facebook question of the day, for sure. Well, that is it for today's Before the Four. Thank you all for watching and spending just a bit of your Thursday afternoon here. Hope you all have a great evening, and as always, you all have a great night.